Glass with color is one of those subjects that it can seem very difficult, especially in watercolor, but it doesn't have to be. Let me show you in this video how, by starting with the lightest color of the bottle, then put it the darkest accents, whatever the glass is thicker. And then, depending on the light, using different tones of the same color, we can achieve transparency and making it feel believable. So, what are we waiting for? Let's start painting. This is our finished bottle. And what makes it believable is the combination of a light overall color, then darker accents wherever the bottle is thicker, and using the same color in different strains from light to medium to dark, depending on where the light or the shadows are hitting our bottle. Look for these things as we paint together, and they will help you create a color glass that feels real. I did save just a few tiny masking spots inside the bottle, and now I'm gonna paint the background by wetting the paper, wet and wet. If you would like to skip the drawing stage, or you just prefer to have the reference picture next to you while you're painting, both of them are in my Patreon, and I will leave the link below. For the background, we're using a mix of neutral tint. One part is more dark than the other, so I will just go with more paint for that one and more diluted for the other one. I'm using the neutral tint by Daniel Smith, allowing to have this light and simple and not spending a whole lot of time. Let it dry by itself, and then we come back to paint the glass. The background is dry. I wetted a little bit on the inside of the bottle, and the colors for the bottle are going to be olive green with green gold to make it lighter. This is where color glass differs from clear glass. You would have the same color as the surrounding, but with color glass, that's not so. What it is we put the very light tone of the same color that it will be in the bottle. At this point, the bottle looks very simple, but this is what is going to help us look translucent instead of chalky. So let's just let it dry. So everything is dry. At this point, I want to remove the masking because this is going to be a dark bottle. If I leave it to the end, the chances are my white will be too sharp. So this way I have a way to control. Now we're coming with the same colors that I did before, a little bit darker. And this is going to be my midtone. It's going to help me build the shape of the bottle. I'm going to come the color right here and then go with one brush that only has water, and I'm going to try to get some of that into a blending inside this other color. We will still have to go with a third darker color. I'm following my reference picture, and wherever I see there is a light, a higher light, then I paint around it, just going diluted to give me a soft edge and continue to build the rest. For the time being, now I'm going to paint around the whites that I saved. That may not be the case in a little bit. If a little bit of the color goes inside the white, it's okay. I still have a highlight. So I'm also following the logic of the background and the shadow that I have behind. Although this is color glass, it's still less enough of the surrounding light to come through, and this is what is going to help us sell the transparency of this color bottle. Okay, and now once more, we're going to allow all of this to dry. At this point, our bottle has officially entered the ugly stage, and we're going to make it move out of that one. It was too distracting for me to see all this white here to gauge the colors, so I put the same colors of the background into the table. Now we're coming to the detail part. This is where most of the detail is going to be, here at the neck of the bottle, because usually this is where our glass is the thickest. So I'm coming with the same colors but thicker, meaning more color, less water. So coming with my darker color, then I bleed it out with just water. I'm gonna make like a line that goes around here that is dark. I'm kind of drawing with my brush. I mean, I have the lines because like I mentioned in another videos, I like to do my drawings detail, so that I had to do the less drawing possible with my brushes. But anyway, following where I have it, darker here, even darker than what I have. Top. Another very dark one here on the other end of the top of neck of the bottle, and it comes inside. This is gonna help us get the turning. This part here is gonna be not as light as that, but not as dark as this other one. So pick some of that color or bring them if you need to. It's up to you. Now I'm coming back to get darks. So I have a big dark area here. Following my reference picture. This is doing two things for us. This is building the roundness and the shape of our bottle, but it's also creating the translucent of color glass, because now that we put this, all this light color seems like light going through it. If the light can go through, means that this object is transparent. So I put darks. I go with a little bit of water to blend. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna come back with a second pass of darkness here. Right now, if I put it, I have too much water, it will go all. I allow that one to dry. I can move on to this other edge, which is also pretty dark. So I put it right in the edge of the bottleneck. Another very dark one comes this way. This one needs to turn a little bit, so I'm turning it to continue to create shape. If it is not bleeding enough, then just come with a little bit of your light color and bring it in. There it goes. Let's bring some of that one. Again, I do want to have a little bit of a highlight up there. Bring a darker color right here next to that one. It will continue to go through it, run through it. So just bring it there. And with a soft brush this time, I'm gonna have a transition. I'm continuing to build the neck by dropping some color, going with water, and having transitions between the darkest, the mediums that we put, the lighters by going around them. Glass looks the more natural, the more believable when we do when we allow the transitions to do the work for us. I got a very, very dark one right here, so let's just put it right now. And now we're gonna continue to build the dark in a circular motion, semicircle. I do want to have a bit of a hard edge, so I'm gonna bleed a little, but not too much. And then I also wanna have another hard edge right here next to all these highlights. But again, notice I'm not going straight, I'm going a little bit up to give the sense of roundness. Putting my darks next to my lightest is creating me additional highlights. Let's do a transition between these darks to the lighter by bringing some medium tones, if you will. Want to have a highlighter there, as I mentioned. Water. Okay, so at this point, yes, I have a couple darks over here, but I think I'm going to move away from this. I'm going to continue to build my bottle, and then we will revise at the end any last details that it may need to be applied. I'm following wherever I see the darks in my reference pictures. This darkness, this is the dark color of all, is what is allowing our glass, a bottle, to fill and get a structure. These dark accents are not just shadows. This is where they tell the eye the glass has thickness and curvature, weight. So I'm placing them very careful, especially on the edges, around the rim, and on the base, because those are the areas where the glass is thicker. So this is where it controls how much or little light goes through. There I have the darks. Now I'm going to fill this up with medium tones. Just playing with lighter darker, the transitions, the blending of my colors. The playing of the light and dark is what it gives us the feeling of transparency. So same colors, I just play with some of them darker and some of them lighter. I want this to be a highlight here too, so let's just go lighter because I have one highlight and a highlight inside the highlight. So how do I do that? Well, put a little bit of color, obviously lighter than this, not as light as that. Gonna do the same thing here, just a very, very light one. Now we're gonna come outside the highlight. Drop, so I have transitions, a little bit of that. Then right away I spread it out. I'm gonna be playing basically with my transitions of colors, darker to lighter to medium and all of them in between. So I'm treating this bottle, I don't know if you noticed, but like if it is half from where the shadows finish, and then I'm gonna do this part first, then this other one. At this point, I need to start doing this other side, which I'm gonna be doing it exactly the same way that I did that one. So I'm thinking that because of that, so I don't bore you, I'm gonna put it in a time lapse. However, you can continue to see me doing it. I still had to work on that is the same way, but I wanted to show you how this inside of the bottle is going to help it turn. Oop, that's a little too green. Let me add a little bit more. I've been having nuances, so a little bit of brun sienna here, a little bit more of blues here or there, and that is what light does when it goes through through glass, which is almost like a that's like if it's a print or something like that. So building the inside of a bottle, we'll be building the transparency of it by having like the light that's coming here and there. I need a darker one over here, so let's just drop it. And then after these darks, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend. Upper bottle is looking great. We can see all the nuances of the light going through color glass, and now it's time to do our bottom part. Now we have light coming in these two directions, so it's going to be this part over here is going to be light with the same colors, very dilute them. I need to have this slightly darker where the light is going to be. For the moment being, I'm going to put that color around everything. This bottle has a square shape, and I'm trying to build this color only till the square bottom because I want to have a few highlights here higher. The shadow goes this way. A little bit of a highlight here, dark. Now we let this dry. I'm going to go with the darkest colors because this is especially here at the bottom is where the glass is thicker. So I go with my darkest color. Once I know how dark to go here, it'll be easier for me to gauge how much darker to go inside. So just go with water just to have a bit of a nuance. So a little bit of water to the same dark color, like a straight line, and then we will go and put the other edge under once this is dry. I'm going to leave a little edge here, and it's going to start to help me build the bottom, but also these walls of water. I'm already starting giving the impression of the bottle turning that way. So I'm building form as I am applying my colors. I'm thinking about those things. I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge at the bottom, very thin, following the same direction of this thick glass. Since I have it there, let's just bring it here as well. I'm building the square of the bottom. Go with that, then bring water. Gonna be another darker around here, and therefore another blending that it will happen here too. Let's put our medium tone, a little bit lighter. Let's just make this wall, it will make more sense. Let's put our darkest darks, that it will be here in the middle, so this bottom starts to make sense. With the darkest, I just come with water and create those transitions. And if you had to come with color, by all means, just bring the color. These darks are here. This one over here almost look too pale, so let's just darken this a little bit. The place where the shadow of the table will be. So let's just bring it, blend it. Tap, tap, tap. So just put in a very dark line here, and as you can see, if I would have put all these darks into the bottle too early, the bottle would have felt heavy and opaque. Now, instead, because we've been putting the darker darks in strategic places, and then we have all those transitions. Now our bottle is very, has the luminosity of the light coming through. I just feel like I had to make a couple small adjustments, like this one needs to get a little bit darker. Just connect a little bit of the bottom part with the top part. And for this one, let's see, we got one over here. And let's just bring it down. It will be kind of turning, so let's just do a little bit of the turn right here, and then tap with water. Yeah, these are little details, but they are the little details that make it put it all together right there. Okay, and then I just tap it up too. Tap. And this one over here, it has to come a little bit higher, and then meet with this. Before I go down to the cat shadow, let's just darken a couple of these shades right here. Bring that out. Make this a little bit darker here and there. What makes color glass feel like if it is believable? It is not the bright highlights. The highlights has to be of the same color of the object, and then playing how the light goes through, not in an even fashion. I don't have everything smooth, because that gives the impression that the light comes more from one and less from the other. Fact that it is all, the whole bottle stays connected through one luminous color family, from the lightest wash to the deepest darks, and still make it believe as if it is responding to light and shadow around it. Have a shadow, have the darkness, and that makes our eyes believe it is transparent instead of being solid. I hope I was able to teach you in this video how painting glass with color is not as complicated as it looks, and how it's easy to manage if we simplify it into a color family and the different color shifts that happens just by how the light is hitting. Also keep in mind that when we blend, it's better that we don't make it all smooth, because light distorts a little bit while it goes through glass. Also, starting with a good drawing helps a lot. So if you would like the tracings for this video, or if you just like to have the reference picture next to you, they are in my Patreon, and I will link them below. If you want to continue painting with me, I'm going to leave a few other videos here. And as always, I thank you for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.